With the 11th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Ron Holland from the G League Ignite. We're going to be talking about a recent mock draft that has the Chicago Bulls picking Ron Holland, and then also to some of the other prospects that the Chicago Bulls might consider with the 11th pick in the draft. This is Rico Greenhowe, and this is another episode of Bulls Digest. And before we jump into it, want to let you know that 75.6% of you guys that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the latest news and happenings around your Chicago Bulls. Let's go ahead and jump into the first topic of the day, which is the Bulls draft Ron Holland. All right, guys. And so if you're not familiar, Ron Holland is a small forward that essentially he measured at 6'8" initially, but I think once he got to the pre-draft combine, I think he's right around 6'6", which is intriguing to me, how some guys' heights have changed. But nevertheless, this guy is a relentless defender, but he needs some work on the offensive end. Not saying that he is terrible, guys, but we're going to go ahead and jump into a draft profile, which is done by The Ringer, which I think is an excellent website to look at if you guys want to look at draft prospects. So we're going to look at Ron Holland. We're going to look at his pluses. We're going to look at his minuses. And we're also going to look at some other draft prospects that the Chicago Bulls have been linked to here in the last couple weeks. You know that this draft has been one where obviously it's a draft that is going to be a lot weaker. And I just think that there's a lot of different positionings going on here based off what people are looking at, what people are finding out about some of these draft prospects. But initially Ron Holland was supposed to go a little bit higher. Now they have him falling to the 11th pick. So let's go ahead and jump into his draft profile. Once again, you can catch this on The Ringer here. So first and foremost, this guy is a defensive stopper with upside to be a downhill attacking scorer. Absolutely true. The athleticism is there. He definitely has the dog in him defensively. The hustle is there, and the on-ball defense is terrific. Again, noted, he does have a much bigger frame than Alex Caruso, but he is not that high, I think, at the 6'8" that they are listing him at. But to go into his pluses, guys, these are some of the things that he can do. These are what his averages are. Again, you can find this on The Ringer. But the first thing you're going to see is that he is an explosive finisher at the basket. That is terrific, and that is what you need. I like the fact that they bring out the fact that he can hang in the air and score through contact. You're going to need to be a bit more physical at the rim, especially when you're going against some of the 7-footers, so I love that. Defensive attacker. I love this, man. He sprints up the floor to beat the defense in the half court. He actively cuts, drives on the closeouts, recognizes backdoor cut opportunities. I love how he does that. Decisive attacker, not defensive attacker, but a decisive attacker. So I like the fact that he is going to be able to be a guy that you do not have to run a play for, and he is going to be absolutely available for a lot of slashing, a lot of the lobs and things like that. And that is a welcome sight, because if you remember when the Chicago Bulls were playing very good with a Lonzo Ball that was healthy, this is what we had. We didn't have to necessarily rely so much on the half-court offense. We had guys that were just able to find spots in transitions, which led to a lot of easy baskets. So he is going to be an easy basket getter. He's a better shooter off the dribble than he is off the catch, so that's pretty good. That lets me know that he can pretty much go ahead, be driving at a guy and pull up. That's a great thing. I have got a chance to look at his passing ability. Occasionally, he'll hit you with the no looks, and it is pretty good. I mean, it's not one of those things where you're going to be scared to put the ball in his hand, so I love that. The versatile defender, you definitely circle that. The mobility to switch on the quicker players, which is what you need. He hustles at all times, and he has a knack for chase down blocks. I love the fact that he does not give up on plays. You give me a guy that wants to play defense, I want him. I feel like we can develop on the offensive end. Guys, he's one of the younger players that I believe has gone off and won some medals with our younger team here. I know they cut off a little bit, but he's averaged 15.3 points per game, shoots 27% from downtown. That's where it's a little scary right there. He did average 7 rebounds, and he is active in the passive lanes with 1.3 steals. All right, guys. And so now we're going to look at a bit of the minuses that he has. He's a little bit stiff with the spot up shooter, as a spot up shooter, so not as fluent. And it doesn't look bad. He does get arc on it. He does have a good release. It's just not translating just yet. He's a below average in the free throw percentage, so you'd want to see that come up a little bit. That's just going to take him just kind of getting in the gym and digging into the craft a little bit here. Look at Lonzo. He's gotten better. And think a little bit, a lot like Kawhi Leonard. When he first came in, he wasn't a polished offensive player, but this is what you have to do. You have to put in the work. So I think certainly it is there for him. Struggles to gain an edge with isolating guys. And so he's a little bit more of a straight line driver. He's not a guy that we're just going to go ahead and let him kind of create his own shot, which is fine. I mean, look, DeMar DeRozan is not necessarily a guy that is going to shake and bake you either. But as long as he can get to his spots, I love that about him. Needs to work on improving his offhand. So you definitely want to be able to finish with your left hand. But to add some light to that, I think Rip Hamilton, who was a terrific basketball player and an NBA champion, I think they said that he really didn't even have necessarily a left. So I'm not necessarily too concerned about that, especially if he can dribble. So guys, initially when I look at this with Ron Holland, to me, he reminds me a lot of a guy that I like to look at OG Anunoby. I like that comparison. I like a little bit of RJ Barrett in him as well. And I see a little bit of Kawhi Leonard. And hold on before we start to go there in the comments. I'm just saying from a physicality standpoint and the way it talks about that he can finish in contact, Kawhi showed that same ability when he was in college. It's just that his three-point shooting had to come along with the rest of his offense, which is just fine. But if you get a guy that is willing to go into the gym, work on his craft there, and defensively he's already locked in, that's a good sign to me, guys. That reminds me a lot of what Jimmy Butler did when he first came in. Jimmy Butler came in to play defense and he developed into an offensive skill set. And so I know that you're going to have to take a little bit of a swing with Ron Holland, but I still like Ron Holland if you're going to take a swing on a guy. I think that, look, it's no new news that he needs to work on his jump shot. He needed to work on it in high school. He needed to work on it here when he was at the Ignite. And so he's going to have to work on it on a professional level. But his motor is there, and I love that about him, guys. So with that being said, that brings us into the next part of the video here, which is who should the Bulls particularly draft here. And so initially, guys, one of the guys that came up to me was Tristan da Silva. I think that when you look at Tristan da Silva, the comparison to a Ron Holland is this is a guy that is a little bit more, I'm going to say NBA ready here. He's ready to contribute right now. He is a terrific three-point shooter. I think he's an excellent passer, terrific defender. The knock about him, really, when you look at the minuses, is that he lacks explosive athleticism, which limits his ability as a roller and a lob finisher, which really, are we too worried about that? And corner drives and things like that. And he doesn't inhale rebounds. All right. And so those are the two minuses that you get. But the one thing that I will say about a guy like Tristan da Silva, in my opinion, think of him like a Keegan Murray type of player. All right. Keegan Murray is a guy that I think the Chicago Bulls would absolutely love to have on their team. Is he going to wow you right now? No, but his development has even taken another leap since year one. And I just think that when you get a guy like Tristan da Silva, you're going to get a guy that is a lot more developed here. And so, look, if we're going to take a chance on a small forward, I certainly like to take a chance on Ron Holland if he falls to us. I like him a little bit better than Tijan Saloum. Hopefully I said his name right, but I like him a lot better there because I think that when you look at Tijan, I think that he's a lot more raw, and we'll definitely talk about him on another video. But in comparison, I think that the Bulls, Yes, they could do better, but I'm going to be okay if they do take Ron Holland here. I think that he can definitely come in. He reminds us a little bit of what Julian Phillips came in and flashed with the defense. I think you're going to see a lot more offensive uptake with him this year, especially with the coaching staff changing over into development here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. Do you think that we should go with Ron Holland? And take that chance? And do you feel like, his ceiling is going to be something that he is going to get to, and we can live through that, and we can still be competitive enough and put him in the right position and not have him out there like Patrick Williams to flourish? Or do you guys agree with me and you think we should go with a guy like Tristan da Silva, who he doesn't have a lot of minuses, and it looks like he's a lot more NBA ready. He might be a lot more of a better fit and a long-term player for us. And I'm even thinking of a comparison like a Luol Deng with Tristan da Silva. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is Rico Greenhowe. Even though we don't know what we're going to do on a day-to-day basis with this team, I still got hope, and I'm still saying go Bulls. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.